One of the salient features of the Sri Sathya Sai system of integral education is the harmonious blossoming of the head, the heart, and the hand. Intellectually sharp, physically sound, and spiritually aware, this is how every student should shine. And one glorious illustration of this grooming is the annual sports and cultural meet of the Sri Sathya Sai Educational Institutions that happens on the 11th of January every year in Prashant Nilayam. It is an eye-popping display of physical agility, mental stability, and indomitable faith in the power of divinity within. Every year sees adventurous and lovely, innovative and lively events being offered to Bhagwan, many of them needing great courage and actually months and years of practice. But Bhagwan's students pick up and perform them in just 15 days. One such vibrant display was the performance of lion dance by the students in 2002. It was a Herculean task to master this art in 2 weeks, but for the students, nothing is impossible. With Swami, everything is him possible. And Swami's deep involvement in this, right from the practice sessions, was the highlight of this offering. In fact, in a moving discourse, Swami himself recalled an anecdote that happened during the rehearsal session.
Darjeeling boy, he lion dance lopala వద్దన్నా కూడాను వెనక స్వామికి ఆశ్చర్యకరమైనటువంటి యొక్క దృశ్యాన్ని నిరూపించాలని పైకి ఎక్కాడు 12 అడుగుల పైకి. అక్కడ నుంచి జారి పడ్డాడు. పడేటప్పటికి మెడ చాలా వాచిపోయింది. అప్పుడు నాయన నీవు కొన్ని దినాలు రెస్ట్ తీసుకో, నీ స్థానానికి ఇంకొకరిని అందించమని చెప్పాను. ఆ అబ్బాయి చెప్పాడు, స్వామి నా జీవితం మీ నిమిత్తమై ఏర్పడినటువంటిది, మీకు అర్పితం కాకుండా ఇంకొకరికి ఈ స్థానంలో నేను ఎట్లా చోటిస్తాను, కట్టుబట్టి సాధిస్తానని చెప్పని ప్రమాణం చేశాడు. అట్టి దీక్షకై నాకెంతయో మనసు ఆనందపడింది. నేను చేయి పెట్టి మెడపైన తిద్ది ఇంకా సరిపోతుంది పోమన్నాను. వారి సంకల్పంను పురస్కరించుకొని నా యొక్క సంకల్పం కూడాను అభివృద్ధి అవుతూ వస్తుంది. కట్టగడపటికి ఆ స్థానంలో ఆ అబ్బాయే దీనికి తగినటువంటి ప్రదర్శన చేసి చాలా ఆనందపరిచాడు.
Just like this Darjeeling boy, if our hearts beat only for Sai, if we do everything only to bring a smile on his face, then our lives will become a series of celebrations of his miraculous presence. In fact, the universe will rearrange itself to ensure that his love protects us like the eyelids protect the eye.
స్వామి అంటే పిల్లలందరికీ ప్రాణము.
Boys take Bhagavan as their very life.
పిల్లలకి ఏ విధంగా డిసప్పాయింట్ కాకూడదు.
That boys should not be disappointed.
పిల్లలకి ఏ విధమైనటువంటి అనానుకూలములు సంభవించకూడదు.
Students should never face any inconveniences.
పిల్లలందరూ క్షేమంగా ఉండాలి.
Boys should be safe and secure.
పిల్లలే నా ప్రాపర్టీ అని అనేక పర్యాయం చెప్పాను.
Bhagavan said students are his property.
కనుక పిల్లలు క్షేమంగా ఉంటేనే నాకు క్షేమము.
When boys are secure, Bhagavan.
పిల్లలు ఆనందంగా ఉంటేనే నాకు ఆనందము. అంత తల్లి కంటే 1000 తల్లుల ప్రేమ కంటే ఎక్కువగా చూస్తుంటాడు స్వామి.
Swami is taking care of them with 1000 mothers of love.
వెంట దంట ఇంట కంట ఉండి అన్ని విధాలు నిన్ను సంరక్షిస్తాడు.
God is with you, in you, above you, below you, around you, and will take care of you.
మీ బెస్ట్ ఫ్రెండ్ ఇస్ గాడ్.
Who is your best friend? God is your best friend.
पूछो ना कैसी है मेरी माँ, एक सच्ची दोस्त जैसी माँ। अरे पूछो ना कैसी है साई माँ, एक सच्ची दोस्त जैसी माँ। मेरे बदन में जान है तू माँ, मिले मुझे किस्मत से ऐसी माँ। मेरे बदन में जान है तू माँ, मिले मुझे किस्मत से ऐसी माँ। मैं अपना लक्ष्य छोड़ दूं, हर एक रिश्ता तोड़ दूं, तू जो कहे माँ दुनिया क्या है मैं संसार भी छोड़ दूं। तू जो कहे माँ दुनिया क्या है मैं संसार भी छोड़ दूं। गीता और कुरान जैसी माँ, एक सच्ची दोस्त जैसी माँ। अरे गीता और कुरान जैसी माँ, एक सच्ची दोस्त जैसी माँ। वृंदावन के फूल है माँ, तुम में समा जाए माँ। वृंदावन के फूल है माँ, तुम में समा जाए माँ। दिल में बसने वाली साई माँ, एक सच्ची दोस्त जैसी माँ। मेरे बदन में जान है तू माँ, मिले मुझे किस्मत से ऐसी माँ। अरे पूछो ना कैसी है साई माँ, एक सच्ची दोस्त जैसी माँ। एक सच्ची दोस्त जैसी माँ, एक सच्ची दोस्त जैसी माँ।
Sai Ram, my most humble salutation at the divine lotus feet of our Bhagwan. I would like to welcome you all to the second session for our Garland of 95 offerings for Swami's 95th birthday. We'll start today's program with someone that needs no introduction, Brother Sai Shekhar, who currently serves as the SSC coordinator for the Sathya Sai Center of Atlanta. He has been an integral part of our center. He grew up in a Sai family from very beginning with his parents. He was brought to Swami's fold. He was a SSC student himself, and his parents, after retiring, they moved to Puttaparthi to essentially spend their life in the service of Swami. Brother Sai Shekhar is going to offer, beginning with Purusha Shuktam and Narayana Shuktam, followed by his favorite Ganesh Bhajan that he learned as an SSC student. Brother Sai Shekhar, Sai Ram.
ॐ श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः हरि ओम् गणानां त्वा गणपतिगुं भवामहे कविं कवीनामुपमश्रवस्तवम् ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणां ब्रह्मणस्पदान् शृण्वन्नोतिभिस्सीदसादनम् प्रणो देवी सरस्वती वाजेभिर्वाजिनीवती धीनामवित्रयवतु गणेशाय नमः सरस्वत्यै नमः श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ओम् शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः श्री साईश्वराय नमः हरिः ओम् ॐ तच्छंयोरावृणीमहे गातुं यज्ञाय गातुं यज्ञपतये दैवी स्वस्तिरस्तु नः स्वस्तिर्मानुषेभ्यः ऊर्ध्वं जिगातु भेषजं सन्नो अस्तद्विपदे शं चतुष्पदे ॐ शान्ति 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 ॐ सहस्रशीर्षा पुरुषः सहस्राक्ष सहस्रपात् स भूमिं विश्वतो वृत्वा अत्यतिष्ठत् संकुलं पुरुष एवेदगं सर्वं यद्भूतं यच्च भव्यम् उतामृतात्वा शेषना यदा नेनातिरोहति एतावनस्या महिमा अतो जायक्ष पुरुषः पादोऽस्या विश्वभूतानि त्रिपादस्यमृतं दिवि त्रिपादोर्ध्वा उदयत्पुरुषः पादोऽसेहर्भवत् पुनः ततो विश्वं व्यक्रमत् शासनानासने अभि तस्मात् विराधा जायता विराजो आदिपुरुषः स जातो अत्यरिच्यता पश्चात् भूमिमतो पुरः यत्पुरुषेण हविषा देवा यज्ञं मतन्वता वसान्तो वास सिद्ध्यजम् ग्रीष्म इत्मत्सरद्धविः सप्त सायन् परिधायः त्रिसप्ता समिधा कृता देवा यज्ञं तन्वनः अबध्नान् पुरुषं पशुं तां यज्ञं बर्हिषि प्रोक्षन् पुरुषं जातमग्रतः तेन देवायाजन्ता साध्यारिश्चये तस्माद्यज्ञः सर्वहुतः संभृतं प्रसादज्यं पशुक्षक्चक्रे वयव्यान् अरण्यान् ग्राम्यश्चये तस्माद्यज्ञः सर्वहुतः ऋचा समानी जिज्ञेरे छन्दांसि जिज्ञेरे तस्मात् यदुस्तस्मादजायता तस्मदस्वा जायन्ता एके चोभयादतः गावो ह जिज्ञेर तस्मात् तस्मात् जाता जावयः यत्पुरुषं यददुः कतिधा व्यकल्पयन् मुखं किमस्या कौ बाहु कावोरुपादा उच्येते ब्राह्मणोऽस्या मुखमासीत् बहुरजन्याकृता पुरु तदस्या यद्वैस्यः पद्यगुं सूत्रो जायता चन्द्रमा मनसो जातः चक्षुः सूर्यो अजायता मुखादिन्द्रश्चग्निश्च प्राणद्वायुरजायता नाभ्य आसिदन्तरिक्षं शीर्ष्णो दव्यो समवर्ता पद्भ्यं भूमिर्दिशा श्रोत्रात् तथा लोकागमकल्पयन् वेदाहमेतं पुरुषं महान्तम् आदित्यवर्णं तमसस्तु पारे सर्वाणि रूपाणि विचित्य धीरः नामानि कृत्वा विवदन् यदस्ते धाता पुरस्ताद्यमुदा जहारा शक्रप्रविद्वान् प्रतिशतस्राः तामेवं विद्वानमृत इह भवति नान्या पन्था अयनाय विद्यते यज्ञेन यज्ञमयजन्त देवाः तानि धर्माणि प्रथमान्यसन् तेहनाकं महिमानः सतन्ते यत्र पूर्वे साध्य सन्ति देवाः अभ्य सम्भुतः पृथिव्यैरसाच्छा विश्वकर्मणः समवर्तताधि तस्य त्वष्टा विदधद्रुपमेति तत्पुरुषस्य विश्वमजनमग्रे वेदाहमेतं पुरुषं महान्तम् आदित्यवर्णं तमसा परस्तात् तामेवं विद्वानमृत इह भवति नान्या पन्था विद्यते यनाया प्रजा प्रतिश्चरति गर्भे यन्ताः अजायमानो बहुधा विजायते तस्य धीरा परिजनन्ति योनिं मरीचीनं पदमिच्छन्ति वेदसः यो देवेभ्य अतपति यो देवानां पुरोहितः पूर्वो यो देवेभ्यो जातः नमो रुचाया ब्रह्मये रुचं ब्रह्मं जनयन्ता देव अग्रे तदब्रुवन् यस्त्वैवं ब्राह्मणो विद्यात् तस्य देवा असन्वसे ऋष्यते लक्ष्मीश्च पत्न्यो अहोरात्रे पार्श्वे नक्षत्राणि रूपम् अश्विनो व्यातम् इष्टं मनीषाना अमुं मनीषाना सर्वं मनीषाना ॐ तत्संयोरावृणीमहे गातुं यज्ञाय गातुं यज्ञपतये दैवी स्वस्तिरस्तु नः स्वस्तिर्मानुषेभ्यः ऊर्ध्वं जिगातु भेषजं सन्नो अस्तद्विपदे शं चतुष्पदे ओ शांति 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 श्री साईश्वराय नमः हरिः ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहे तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहे ॐ शांति 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 ॐ सहस्रशीर्षं देवं विश्वाक्षं विश्वशम्भुवं विश्वं नारायणं देवमक्षरं परमं पदं विश्वता परमा नित्यं विश्वं नारायणगं हरिं विश्वमेवेदं पुरुषस्तदिस्वामुपजीवति पतिं विश्वास्यत्मे स्वर्गं शाश्वतगं शिवमच्युतं नारायणं महाज्ञेयं विश्वात्मानं परायणं नारायण परो ज्योतिरात्मा नारायण परः नारायण परो ब्रह्म तत्त्वं नारायण परः नारायण परो ध्याता ध्यानं नारायण परः यच्च किञ्चित् जगत् सर्वं दृश्यते श्रूयते विवा अन्तर्बहिश्च तत्सर्वं व्याप्य नारायण स्थितः अनन्तमव्ययं कविगुं समुद्रेऽन्तं विश्वशम्भुवम् पद्मकोशा प्रतीकासगं हृदयं चप्यतो मुखम् अतो नित्यावितस्त्यन्ते नाभ्यामुपरितिष्ठति ज्वालमालाकुलं भाति विश्वास्यायातनमत् सन्ततगं शिलाभिस्तु लम्बात्याकोशसन्निभं तस्यन्ते सुसृगं सूक्ष्मं तस्मिन् सर्वं प्रतिष्ठितं तस्य मध्ये महानग्निर्विश्वच्चिर्विश्वतो मुखः सोऽग्रभुग्वी भजन्तिष्ठा नारामजरकविः तिर्यगुर्ध्वामतस्यायैरस्मायस्तस्य सन्तता सन्तपैति स्वं देहमापदलमस्तकः तस्य मध्ये वह्निशिखा अनियोर्ध्वा व्यवस्थितः नीलतो यदमध्यस्था द्विदुल्लेखेव भास्वरा नीवारसूकवत्तन्वी पीताभास्वत्यनूपमा तस्या शिखाया मध्ये परमात्मा व्यवस्थितः स ब्रह्म स शिव स हरिसेन्द्र सोक्ष परमस्वरात् ऋतगं सत्यं परं ब्रह्म पुरुषं कृष्णपिङ्गलम् ऊर्ध्वरेतं विरूपाक्षं विश्वरूपाय वै नमो नमः ॐ नारायणाय विद्महे वासुदेवाय धीमहि तन्नो विष्णु प्रचोदयात् ॐ साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्व प्रचोदयात् ॐ शांति 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 ॐ यदक्षरपदभ्रष्टं मात्राहीनं तु यद्भवेत् तत्सर्वं क्षम्यतां देवा नारायण नमोऽस्तु ते विसर्गबिन्दुमात्राणि पदपादाक्षराणि च न्यूनानि चातिरिक्तानि क्षमस्व ईश्वरा अपराधसहस्राणि क्रियन्ते हर्निशं दासोऽयमिति मां मत्वा क्षमस्व ईश्वरा अन्यथा शरणं नास्ति त्वमेव शरणं मम तस्मात् रक्ष रक्ष साईश्वरा हरि ओम Sorry, I'm sorry for that. Sairam. I'm going to sing a Ganesh bhajan. It is a very short bhajan. Actually, there is a small story behind it. When I was like, 4 or 5 year old, there were a few devotees from Bhopal in India, Madhya Pradesh state. They performed a program in front of Swami, and in that program, Swami, in fact, very specifically mentioned them to convert that program into a bhajan cassette. In those days, it was not CDs. There were no CDs, no DVDs, etc. They were all tapes, cassettes. So I like this bhajan so much that I told that to my dad, and as soon as the cassette was released, he happened to get me a cassette, and I listened to that bhajan for a long, long time. And after coming to Atlanta, it so happened that Varanya a few years ago sang one of the bhajans from that cassette during one of the Navratri celebrations, I believe in 2017 or 18. In those 2 years, I would like to render this bhajan, and there is a speciality in this bhajan. Usually, we ask. Usually, we ask everything for Bhagwan. But this bhajan expresses gratitude to Bhagwan, saying, Bhagwan, I am so happy. Vishneshwaraya Namah, He Gauri Sutaya Namah, Shwaraya Namah, He Parthivasaya Namah, He Parthivasaya Namah. Sai Ram.
Heartfelt offering, we could feel the love and the emotion you have for Swami through this bhajan. We're going to move on to the next offering by one of our young adults, Neha. Sairam Neha.
Saram, Brother Chinmay. Am I audible? Am I audible, Brother Chinmay?
Now we can hear you, yeah. And
Okay.
I think you probably need to turn on your video as well. Thank you. Share your screen.
Saram, everybody. So today, I believe most of you would have read or heard about Tapovanam. So today, I would like to retouch upon the significance of Tapovanam and how I personally get re-energized when I read Tapovanam every single time. So I would go ahead and share my screen. Yeah, so Tapovanam is a holy book which is about the sacred life story of Bhagwan Sri Sathya Sai Baba. As you could see, this is the book which is in English language, and we also have this book in several different languages. Um, so Tapovanam is a story about God incarnate, his nature, his life, etc. But although we cannot completely comprehend and understand the entirety of the divinity of the Lord, um, there has been this book has made an effort to capture and put in together some parts of the infinite glory of the Lord. So Tapovanam has been a great attempt of this kind uh, and has brought in together numerous experiences and miracles of different devotees from all over the world. So Tapovanam is generally referred to as a garden of meditation. So when a person or a devotee reads Tapovanam, he's entitled to experience bliss through various stories and the various miracles of people, and he would absolutely enjoy it and also help others enjoy reading it. So this indeed would help create a peaceful environment and a um, peace of mind whenever they get to read these stories and try to experience them. And it has been experienced by many people in the same manner. So Tapovanam was written by Sri Jandyala Venkateshwara Sastri Garu, and he was amply blessed by Swami, and he received his love and compassion in many numerous ways. He had an opportunity to live in close proximity with Swami, and he was an eyewitness to like numerous miracles. And then he was blessed with Swami's permission to start this Satcharita about him. And he was guided by Swami, and also Swami blessed his efforts in publishing this book. Um, and also to begin about and to go over the contents of the book. So basically, the book starts with a particular uh, it starts with the day-to-day activities in the Prashanti Nilayam and how an ideal day would be like. Um, and it also continues with the birth story of Swami and how Shirdi Sai and Parthi Sai, though being different avatars, have the same divinity and they are one. It also captures various experiences and miracles from devotees all over the world. And every single incident described is so powerful that it lights the lamp of love and compassion and drives away the darkness of ignorance whenever we try to read these stories. So, I would also want to touch upon a few miracles. Which are mentioned in the book and which I personally relate to. So, I will start with the story where Lady Devotee is rescued from fire, and um, the lady is offering prayer in her prayer room, and she had numerous lights in her room, and then. This is like particularly far away from Puttaparthi, but then without her knowledge, her sari gets on fire and it catches fire with one of those lamps. And before even she realizes, Swami is there to help her out and saves her from being harmed by the fire. And it shows that the earnest prayers of her were answered by Swami, and she was miles apart from where Swami was physically there. And the prayers reached Swami because there was such earnesty in her prayers and her compassion for Swami. And then there is another story where agony of students moves Bhagwan. So, as we've seen earlier in the video, where Bhagwan has himself mentioned that students are his property, and had never. He had always taken utmost care of the students there. So there was one such incident when he was in Vrindavan, and all the students were around Swami and always trying to conversate with Swami, and all their minds were full of Swami, and they were not concentrating on their studies, and their exams were approaching soon. So Swami had warned them that since Swami is there, their minds are being distracted and they're not focusing on studies, which was their primary reason of being in that school. So Swami uh, says that he would leave the next day, and on the decided time he leaves the venue. And then every student is gloomy and they're all thinking about Swami. They were not concentrating on their studies. And then they see Swami's car arriving, and Swami comes back, and then the students inquire the reason on why Swami had come back so soon. And then Swami says that he had forgotten the keys to go back to Puttaparthi, and every student pleads Swami, asking him to stay back. And then Swami says that. Um, it's their sincere and their transparent distress for Swami that had dragged him back, and their earnest prayers were the reason why Swami had come back. So he asks them to concentrate on his studies, and he promises to stay there for some more time. So he says that. Whenever we have an intense yearning for God, that's one of the essential features to attain spirituality and to get closer to God. And then the other incidents which are closer to my heart are wherein the moral is to um, wherein the moral is where during the hardships is when we feel God's proximity closer to us. Um, so there is this incident in Mahabharat when the Pandavas gain victory in the war and come back to the palace, and Lord Krishna, talks to Mother Kunti and asks her if she is happy and if she has any other wishes. And Mother Kunti says, since Pandavas had been staying in forests and in difficult situations, Lord Krishna had been with them in every single moment and helped them and guided them and protected them. Um, so Mother Kunti also says, prays to Krishna to bestow her with hardships so that she could have close proximity with Krishna. And there is another story, similar story, which is narrated in Tapovanam, where Swami is in Ooty in Nandanavanam, and there was this incident where Swami is traveling to one of the hill stations along with the students, and then there are two devotees who come to Nandanavanam to visit Swami and gets to know that Swami had already left Nandanavanam to go to the venue on a particular hill station. So the devotees, in a hurry to reach Swami, they try to follow Swami's car and meet with an accident. And Swami gets to them at that particular instance and uh, asks them about checks for their wounds and asks them to be careful and not be so careless in driving. So that's when the devotees say that since they had met with this accident or a mishap, that's when they could not only earn Swami's darshan, but they could also earn Swami's sambhashan and Swami's parshan. So, which is they could have a conversation with Swami and they could have the touch of Swami. Um, so that's what Swami says that when one is going through hardships, he experiences proximity of Swami or the Lord in more closer quarters than when he is in happiness and going through a good phase. And Swami affirms that a devotee who sincerely believes in God is never abandoned by God. So that's one of the incidents which is like closer to my heart, and it reminds me whenever I'm going through a difficult or a rough phase. And then the other incident I would want to touch upon is an incident with a devotee called Tulsama. So she was a great devotee of Swami, and she was in a manner of doing Namasmarna every time. And she happens to travel to some place in an auto rickshaw back in those days. So she tries to, the driver uh, who was driving the auto rickshaw hits into a tree, and an accident happens, and the woman is hurt, and she cries out Sai Ram at the moment of the accident. And she knows that her wound was really bad, and then what she realizes later is the auto driver initially had a negative thought of thefting her of her jewels when he first saw her, and that's the reason he had dashed into the tree. um, and then the utterance of Sairam at that particular instance had changed his mind, and he had that particular effect on where he thought that he shouldn't rob such a pious lady. And from then on, he expressed his remorse to the lady, and from then on, he became a well intended friend of that particular lady. So that was the significance of Namasmarna, where it had the impact of changing his negative thoughts and changed his attitude and made it more positive. So these were the couple of incidents which I personally got reconnected while reading Tapovanam, and there are many such miracles which, when read every time, causes that reconnection with Swami. And then Swami also says that Sai Baba transcends every other god. Therefore, people of every faith can read this book, where Swami says, if you are a Christian, be a better Christian, and if you are a Muslim, be a better Muslim, and likewise. So he says he's not come to divert your faith, but try to build up strong faith in your own religion, and Swami also says that Sarva Mata Dharma Sammatam is Sai Matam, wherein Sai faith is nothing but harmonization of all the faiths, and to have interconnection for the basics of all the religions of the world. Also, having said that, the sacred life story of Bhagwan can be read as a daily recitation. It's generally practiced to read it from Thursday to Wednesday, but it could be generally read at any given point of time. And uh, One would definitely experience bliss after reading the Tapovanam, and it's also available in numerous languages. And we also have many hard copies and soft copies available in the internet and in different publications. So I would definitely recommend everybody to read Tapovanam and re-energize themselves. Saira.
Thank you so much for this beautiful offering and reminding us about the stories of Tapobanam. The next offering is going to be from two of our very own SSC students, Raghav and Richa. Sairam, please take over.
Sairam. Can you hear us?
Yes.
Okay. Bhajo Gananayaka Gajavadana Bhajo Gananayaka Gajavadana Bhajo Gananayaka Gajavadana Bhajo Gananayaka Gajavadana Mangaladayaka Shubhacharana Mangaladayaka Shubhacharana Mangaladayaka Shubhacharana Mangaladayaka Shubhacharana Bhajo Gananayaka Gajavadana Siddhi Vinayaka Shivanandana Siddhi Vinayaka Shivanandana Siddhi Vinayaka Shivanandana Siddhi Vinayaka Shivanandana Anandadayaka Chitta Jatmana Anandadayaka Chitta Jatmana Anandadayaka Chitta Jatmana Anandadayaka Chitta Jatmana Buddhi Pradayaka Jagavandana Buddhi Pradayaka Jagavandana Buddhi Pradayaka Jagavandana Buddhi Pradayaka Jagavandana Bhajo Gananayaka Gajavadana Bhajo Gananayaka Gajavadana Mangaladayaka Shubhacharana Mangaladayaka Shubhacharana Bhajo Gananayaka Gajavadana Bhajo Gananayaka Gajavadana Siddhi Vinayaka Shivanandana Siddhi Vinayaka Shivanandana Anandadayaka
शुक्लं ब्रह्मविचारसार परमाम् आद्यं जगद्व्यापिनी वीणापुस्तकधारिणीम् अभयदाम् राज्ञन्धकारापहाम् हस्ते स्वातिकमालिकं विधदति पद्मासने संस्थिताम् वन्दे तां परमेश्वरीं भगवती बुद्धिं प्रदां शारदाम् शुक्लं ब्रह्मविचारसार परमाम् आद्यं जगद्व्यापिनी वीणापुस्तकधारिणीम् अभयदाम् राज्ञन्धकारापहाम् हस्ते स्वातिकमालिकं विधदति पद्मासने संस्थिताम् वन्दे तां परमेश्वरीं भगवती बुद्धिं प्रदां शारदाम् जय जय देवी दयालहरी जय जय देवी दयालहरी जननी सरस्वती पालय मां जननी सरस्वती पालय माम् अमले कमलासन सहिते अमले कमलासन सहिते अद्भुतचरिते पालय माम् अद्भुतचरिते पालय माम् जय जय देवी दयालहरी जय जय देवी दयालहरी जननी सरस्वती पालय माम् जननी सरस्वती पालय माम् माता मङ्गलगुणशालिनी नित्य जपिए कृष्ण नाम जी बोलो वाहे गुरु वाहे गुरु वाहे गुरु जी बोलो सत्य नाम सत्य नाम सत्य नाम जी बोलो नित्य नित्य जपिए मेरे नाम जी बोलो सत्य नाम सत्य नाम सत्य नाम जी बोलो राम 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 जी बोलो राम 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 जी बोलो राम 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 जी बोलो नित्य नित्य जपिए राम राम जी बोलो कृष्ण 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 जी बोलो जपिए कृष्ण नाम जी बोलो नित्य नित्य जपिए कृष्ण नाम जी बोलो गोविंद जय जय गोपाल जय जय राधा रमन हरि गोविंद जय जय गोविंद जय जय गोपाल जय जय गोविंद जय जय गोपाल जय जय गोविंद जय जय गोपाल जय जय राधा रमन हरि गोविंद जय जय राधा रमन हरि गोविंद जय जय गोविंद जय जय गोपाल जय जय गोविंद जय जय गोपाल जय जय राधा रमन हरि गोविंद जय जय राधा रमन हरि गोविंद जय जय गोविंद जय जय गोपाल 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 जय जय राधा रमन हरि गोविंद जय जय राधा रमन हरि गोविंद जय जय वाहे गुरु जी बोलो सत्य नाम सत्य नाम सत्य नाम जी बोलो साई राम
Sai Ram Raghavan Richa, what an amazing offering, lots of energy to wrap up our program.
Thank
May
you.
Swami's blessing always be with you, and you keep singing Swami's name with all the love and enthusiasm that you showed today. Sai Ram.
Saram,
Saram.
thank you.
So we're going to wrap up our program today with this offering. Before we start Aarti, I wanted to remind everyone that we would like more folks to come forward and offer. On the weekly announcement email, you will see the link to sign up. So please go ahead and sign up. This is the second offering, so we have 7 more weeks to go. So please make time, please sign up, and encourage your friends, your family members to sign up as well. Sai Ram, we will do Aarti next.
ओम जय जगदीश हरे स्वामी सत्य साई हरे
भक्त जना संरक्षक
भक्त जना संरक्षक भक्ति महेश्वरा ओम जय जगदीश हरे शशिवदना श्रीकरा सर्व प्राणपते स्वामी सर्व प्राणपते आश्रित कल्पलतिका आश्रित कल्पलतिका आपद्बांधव ओम जय जगदीश हरे पिता गुरुदैवमु मरियंतयुनीवे स्वामी मरियंतयुनीवे नाद ब्रह्म जगन्नाथ नाद ब्रह्म जगन्नाथ नागेन्द्र शयन ओम जय जगदीश हरे रूप भज शिव साई महादेव सत्य साई महादेवा मंगल आरती अंधुको मंगल आरती अंधुको मंदर गिरिधाम ओम जय जगदीश हरे नारायण नारायण सत्य नारायण 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 सत्य नारायण नारायण सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम जय सद्गुरुदेव नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण 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 ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम जय सद्गुरुदेव नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण 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 ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम जय सद्गुरुदेवा शांति 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 समस्त लोका सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्त लोका सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्त लोका सुखिनो भवन्तु शांति शांति शांति
जय बोलो भगवान श्री सत्य साई बाबा जी की
जय पवित्रं बाबा विभूतिं परमं विचित्रं लीला विभूतिं परमार्थ इष्टार्थ मोक्ष प्रदातं बाबा विभूतिं चिरमाश्रयामि sacred holy and supreme is Baba Vibhuti pouring forth in endless stream his Leela Vibhuti so auspicious is its might it grants liberation Baba Vibhuti his power protects me Paramam Baba Vibhutim Paramam